Hey everybody, what's happening? Tim Meister here. Welcome back to Gasparilla County, Florida. We're back here again in our brand new city that we've started in the last episode, St. Patricksburg. And in today's episode, I am going to be starting to build out the waterfront here. Now, to my surprise, after spending a lot of time looking at satellite imagery of St. Petersburg's waterfront, I was surprised by how much park space there is. And I thought there is just enough room here that I thought I could create a similar waterfront than in St. Petersburg, here in St. Patricksburg. So let's get started here. I am going to go into my terrain tools and I am going to flatten out this entire space here just so I can get started on the actual waterfront. So we're gonna start from scratch here, a nice blank slate. And then, of course, I'm gonna have to remove all of the trees that are here. So let's go ahead and remove all of these trees. And then we'll just wait a second here for this water to fill in. All right, that should be good. And now I'm gonna go back into my terraforming. And similar to St. Petersburg, right in the downtown area, there's these little islands with a variety of parks. So I'm gonna try to recreate something very similar. Now, of course, this is much easier said than done, but I'm gonna try my best here to create something that resembles kind of what we got in St. Pete. Now, of course, I don't want, I don't necessarily want this city to completely reflect St. Petersburg. I don't want to make it an exact copy, but I still think it would be pretty cool to recreate some of the city's most iconic landmarks and to create something that would maybe resemble St. Pete to, maybe to somebody who lives there currently. So let's start here by building out a little pier that goes off like this. And then in between these piers will be some marinas, docks, all that stuff. And I think I'm gonna flatten this area out a little bit, build it out a bit more as well. Gonna reclaim some land, and then potentially we can have some nice park space in front here, as well as maybe some businesses, maybe some city services as well. We'll see what we can fit here on these little piers. All right, so let's start with that. And then I'm going to build a little alley here. Now, I think this might be a little bit of a challenge because the city is raised a bit too high, I think. I'm gonna have to fix this. So I'm gonna try to make a nice, smooth slope down to a more appropriate level. So I'm gonna select all of my nodes here, and then I am going to bring them down just a tad. Oh my god, this is gonna make a mess, guys. Look at all these trees that are going into our roads now. Oh well, that's just how it is. Oh no, it kind of screws up our park here. Can I fix this somehow with the power of Move It? Looks like this might be a bit of a manual task to bring this down to a more appropriate level, but I think it can be done. Maybe if I bring this entire park down a couple levels. Yeah, it appears to be bringing the road down with it. Okay, well maybe let's just delete this road, and then maybe here, let's try to flatten this out. Oh wow. Just by luck, I got the road to the exact same height as my terrain here. Hopefully this isn't too low, but I don't think it is. I think we're good. There, so we'll flatten this out. Maybe a little bit here. We'll create a nice smooth slope. There we go. Perfect. And then I'll flatten all of this. And then I can rebuild the road. Oh, we're getting an invalid shape. There we go. So this is gonna turn out not perfect. But here, let me try and fix this. Slope too steep. Oh, geez. Well. Here, now smooth this out a little bit. There we go, guys. I think that should be all right. Now, I know Florida is, you know, it's mostly flat for the most part. It might be rare to see even these slight hills right next to the coast like this, but we'll make an exception in this little area. All right, there we go. So now let's carry on. And then I will select an alley. And I'll connect this up here. Hopefully this will make like a little seawall. Yup, just like this. Oh yeah, that's marvelous, guys. Look at that. And then using the key tool, we'll fix this up like this. Awesome, so that creates a nice smooth edge. And then perhaps I can do the same thing over here, and that'll create a really nice canal. Just make sure that everything is nice and level. We'll apply the same thing here, and look at that, guys. That is wonderful. So now hopefully we'll be able to go ahead and create a bridge that goes across here. Not quite, it looks like. Can I modify this to be an actual bridge? No, it might not be high enough. Maybe I'll have to raise these two nodes a little bit. Nope, maybe not. Maybe it's too... This might not work. Might be too low. Well, at the end of the day, that's still not too bad. All right, so far so good. Now, of course, I want to make these parks somewhat useful. Now, there's going to be a variety of parks downtown here, so I'm going to go ahead and place a park maintenance depot to make sure that our parks are going to be properly serviced. But, oi, this is a little bigger than I thought it was going to be. I think maybe somewhere over here might be a bit more appropriate. But what I can certainly place down here is maybe a community pool. I think that looks wonderful. And then I'll expand this a bit out here so we can build some trails around it. There we go. Now, of course, in St. Pete, around these parks here near the coastline, there would be an airport right here. Now, unfortunately, I don't have enough room for that because the airports in Cities Skylines 2 are absolutely massive. As you can see, there is no way we're ever going to fit this here. So I'm just not going to include that in this build, but instead what I'll do here is I'll just build out a nice breakwater to divide things up. So I'll build it out to, I don't know, maybe out to like here. Do something like this, and then what I'll do here is just build this out a little bit. There. And that should do it. There, so let's get into some actual trails. While I'm building away here, I just wanted to mention that the reason why I'm doing this park episode now is I really wanted to develop the waterfront and create a really aesthetic build without breaking the bank, because, you know, we're kind of balling on a budget right now. I'm trying not to spend too much money. The city's not doing terribly in terms of economics, but I still don't want to be spending a ton of money. But once we're done the coastline, we're going to start to move more inland, where I'll start to build out, you know, some more suburbs, get some more residences in here. And then at some point pretty soon, we'll be able to balance the budget and actually start making money. Okay, I wonder if these road tools actually work on paths. Oh my god, guys, they do. That is wild. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna have to do this segment again, because I raised it to get that wall up, just like that. And then I'm not really sure what's gonna happen in the back here. Here, what if I take these two out? And then, yeah, I might have to just build a path like this and then connect it up just like this. And let's go back into my road tools. There we go. Look at that, guys. So it creates kind of a lopsided artificial island. But hopefully someday in Move It we can get a level tool. But for now, I'm just gonna have to manually fix this up. I'm just gonna kind of try to get it as level as I possibly can. There we go. And then I will go back into my terraforming tool and then just try to fix it up just a little bit. That should be good. I think I might want to stretch this out just a bit farther. Oh crap, never mind. That's a terrible idea. It's not going to bring the terrain with it, but that's okay. I think that's enough anyway. So now I have this little island here, which I am not really sure what to do with. Because we can't really place any parks. Yeah, we need a road. So that's not going to do it. So that's okay. We'll just create a little artificial park over here on the tip of this island. Do a small playground over here. And then, there's not a whole lot of room to play around with here. The Passage Park is pretty huge. Large city park, multi-purpose park. This park would be really cool to have somewhere downtown. I don't know where I'm gonna fit it, but it would be pretty darn cool. Now there is kind of a lack of really tiny parks in the game right now, so I'm really gonna have to be careful what I build. But that's okay. We'll figure something out. All right, so now that I have a basic outline of these two islands here, let's go into some more minute details, such as rocks. So let's see what kind of rocks here that we can place. Yeah, look at that. We got some beautiful rocks, and then let's use our line tool to plop some of these barriers. Let's maybe see if we got some bigger ones, just to make this a bit less tedious. They all seem to be about the same size. Oh, actually, a rock random, that might be our best bet. So we're gonna reduce the spacing to maybe about 1 meter. Yep, that should do it. And then let's have the rotation randomly assorted. Let's have them in the wall-to-wall mode. Yep, there we go. And yeah, let's just basically go to town. We'll create some seawalls here. There we go. Now I don't want to be too tedious here. I don't want to like plaster this with too many rocks because it's just going to make so many props on this map. There, just like this. But at least from afar, this looks really, really good. Alright, so I don't want this entire island to be surrounded with these seawalls. So what I'm going to do here is go back into my paths. And then I am going to line them with some keys as best I can. This is a little tricky. But if I build these paths... let's maybe start from here. We'll go 90 degrees. And then I'll go into my road tools. Put some keys on this side. That's not perfect, but it'll do. And then let's grab either end of this and then bring this right near the water. Now this section is sloping down for whatever reason, so I'm gonna have to try to fix that. Maybe if we do this and then are we able to fix this? Yep, there we go. That looks a little better. Not perfect, but it's all right. And I'm basically just gonna work my way around the entire island. Now, I really don't like to do this, guys, but until we get proper keys in the game, I have no choice but to build some proper marina docks. For now, what we must do is do them manually, just like this. So let's go here, and basically you just gotta create all of these little inlets like this. And then it creates some, I'd say, pretty convincing docks. And I guess this is just a temporary measure until we get the ability to build custom docks, which I don't know when that'll be, but hopefully sooner than later. Alright guys, well at this point I have a pretty basic layout of this entire build. Now we're going to start to get into some more detailing using various props. Now I'm going to look for maybe a gazebo. Oh my god, I can't type today. Gazebo. I'm going to see what we get here. And then maybe we can have like a nice gazebo up top here on this little island. And then let's maybe connect this up with some paths. Actually, let's maybe do like a nice circle around this. Oh my god, this is gonna be terrible. Here, let's just do a kind of a lopsided circle like this, and then hopefully by connecting up various paths, it's gonna make it look not as obvious. Yeah, I guess that'll do. And then we'll add some trees to kind of hide that a little bit. And then over here as well, I think let's get into some trees. You know, I don't want to go too crazy with the props, things like that. Like I could go as far as adding benches and going into some really minute details. But if I want to finish this build this year, I got to stick to more of the basics, I would say. Here, so let's add... Oh, why is this behaving like a little bush? Oh, there we go, there. Because I had both sapling and mature selected. So I guess let's just go to town here. Let's start adding a whole bunch of palm trees as well as a variety of other trees, you know, just to make this area look the part. You know, this is obviously a very manicured part of the city, so we're gonna add a ton of palm trees. Typical Floridian kind of landscaping, right? But we also want to add maybe some London plain trees as well, maybe some oak trees, some big mature oak trees to fill in some of these areas with some more dense shrubbery. And then this little peninsula over here, we're gonna make it look like it may be in disrepair, you know, maybe it's abandoned, not really taken care of anymore. So then we'll add all kind of... Oh, okay, I didn't know that was possible, but here, let's not have floating flowers. But here, let's maybe add a variety of shrubbery, you know, some trees in here, some wild bushes. Let's make this area look nice and abandoned. Well, maybe nice isn't the right word, but there we go. So then the rest of this area is going to be, you know, a little bit more manicured. And I, of course, don't want to overdo it as well. There we go, guys. Wow, doesn't that look magnificent? And it was fairly simple to build as well. Nothing too complicated here. Now, if we even want to go a step further, perhaps we can build some, let's see here. Maybe we can go and do some surfaces. I don't have a ton of surfaces installed, but here, let's build maybe some modern looking tiles. Maybe to make this park a bit different, you know? So let's have a nice plaza here. Oh, okay, they don't really look the same, but that's okay. And then in this area, let's explore what we can maybe build here. Oh yeah, that's right. We got some decals, beach decals, ground decals. You know, we got some dirt, we got some cracks, things like that. Oh, look at that. We could build our, you know, our very own custom basketball court. What else do we got? Got a track and field, multi-purpose. Wow, this is cool, guys. I never realized that this was all included with this mod. Actually, let's go take a look. I think I recall there being, yeah, some tennis courts, maybe a basketball court. Maybe we can have some of these extra parks in the area somewhere. You know, they're not super huge, so if we could... Oh, actually, this might look pretty cool over here. That looks wonderful, guys. All right. So on our little pad here, let's carry on. Let's maybe go in and find it tool, and then let's sort by what do we got here? Let's do props, and then miscellaneous. We got residential props. You know, there could be some useful things here. Got barbecues. We could have like a couple of public barbecues here. Of course, some benches, right? We need some benches here. And oh, maybe like a nice fountain. You know, this seems like a nice area for a fountain. Let's go into random. And here, let's get a really nice fountain set up. Whoa, wow, these are pretty large. Yeah, we could do a nice modern fountain in the middle. Park props. So over here in the corner, we could do a couple of bike racks. And then, oh yeah, that would be cool actually. Some picnic tables, maybe some abstract looking picnic tables for people who may want to come out here and enjoy a nice meal or something in the sun. All kinds of props, guys. I've got access to. Oh, what is this? We got some kiosk. Oh yeah, that'd be pretty interesting. If we have a couple of kiosks in here. Maybe we can add one over in this area as well. Oh, look at this. We got a nice open space here, and then maybe another one here. So there it is, guys. There is the actual marina. Now let's head back on over to the mainland, and then we'll get started on this coastline here. But before that, I just had an idea. I think I'm going to reclaim a big chunk of land here, and then I'm going to get started on sort of a sports park. Something like that, because there seems to be a sports park in the same general area in St. Pete. So I'm just going to build something, you know, that will loosely resemble that same park over in St. Pete. So we're going to reclaim a big chunk of land here. Hopefully this is going to be enough, but if not, we'll expand as needed. So I'm just going to build this out just like so. And then let's get into some actual sports parks. So let's take a look here. Maybe we'll have a soccer field, or maybe, I think the football field's a little large. Soccer field's a bit smaller. And you know what? Seeing soccer fields in Florida are not that uncommon because there's still quite a large Hispanic population in Florida. You know, people from Central America, South America who are, for the most part, pretty big soccer fans or football fans. So in my experience, there tends to be quite a few soccer fields dotted around Florida, which is pretty cool to see. So let's try to get this to fit here somehow. Just like that. That looks pretty good. And then what I think I'm gonna do here is run this road along the waterfront. If I can get it to behave. And I want to build a nice waterfront. There we go. Yeah, that actually looks pretty nice. And then let's try again. I'm curious, can I fit a park maintenance building over here? Because there's going to be quite a number of parks. It appears I can, so I am going to squeeze it. Oh, I guess I'll need anarchy on, so I'm going to squeeze it in back here. Now, we won't be able to provide any upgrades to this building, most likely, but that's fine. And then with move it, I'll just raise this a little bit. To reclaim a tiny bit more land. Oh, it seems to be a bit higher over here. This is turning out to be a really, really fun build now. I'm really liking this. So we finally got our park maintenance building. And then let's see what we can maybe squeeze in this public space here. So if we go into our park menu, we'll see, let's see here, tennis courts. Oh wow, they're a bit larger than I expected. Here I can fit some. Oh no, not quite. You know what, on second thought, I think this is not the place for the park maintenance depot. Instead, I'm going to try, let's see what some tennis courts look like. That looks nice. And then, oh yeah, maybe a nice skate park as well. Gotta try to cram this in here. An outdoor gym. This is pretty tiny, so maybe I'll try to plop this, yeah, let's do right here along the main strip. And then we can kind of work away at beautifying all of this later, you know, by adding paths that cut through here, and then trees a bit later on. Oh, what have we got going on here? It looks like we have a hedge that is kind of in the way. I don't really know what to do about this. I can probably use the, I think it's like the better remove tool or something. I don't have it installed now, but I might install it later just to remove this hedge. I didn't expect it to be in the way like that. But for now, we'll just ignore it. And by next episode, I'll try to get that out of the way. All right, well, I think that is a good start for a sports park. Now I'm going to start to work on this little strip here between the mainland and our little islands that we've built. Nothing too fancy here. I'm just going to build, you know, some nice paths, adding a bunch of trees, maybe a few props here and there, and then that should set us up for this episode. Now, although we have a ton of park space here in downtown, much like... Oh, what's going on here? Crime scene, okay. Crime in the park. Yeah, like I was saying, although similar to St. Pete, there's a ton of park space near downtown. This is still Florida, and there's no lack of parking in a lot of these areas. So I'm gonna go ahead here and plop a modest parking lot. That's a good way to describe this. Let's see where I can maybe squeeze this. Probably here. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's just smooth this. Probably will have some buildings in here, you know, some generic buildings for downtown. Now, for some reason, I have like 0 commercial demand right now, but oh, okay. Doesn't appear to affect any of my mixed housing. Perhaps we just won't have any, you know, shops in these buildings. We'll just have some residences up top, maybe. So let's continue on here. Let's build maybe just a series of paths throughout here. All right, and let's maybe do another fountain here. Oh, it's a little smaller than I expected. Let's splurge a little bit here, guys. You know, this is a pretty luxurious town, so let's plop a nice fountain in the middle here. Look at that. Wonderful. You know, Florida has always been very manicured. The landscaping is next to none in a lot of spots. Tons of palm trees and beautiful locations all over the state. So that's one thing I really do appreciate about Florida. Even like highway interchanges are very nicely decorated. And you'll actually often see workers out, you know, just landscaping in the middle of the highway medians, planting flowers, doing all kinds of stuff like that. It's not a job that I would enjoy doing, that's for sure, in the Florida heat. But, you know, that's probably one of the reasons why Florida is one of the most beautiful places on Earth, really. Despite what people might say. I really enjoy it. And by taking your time, guys, and really just plopping a bunch of details, you know, decals and props and different things like that, you can get some really, really, really nice results in no time flat. long as you got the patience and maybe a little bit of anarchy here and a little move it there, you get some pretty cool things. At this point, the Patricksburg waterfront is looking mostly complete, at least in this area. There's still quite a bit of work to do around the entire peninsula, but at least the downtown portion is mostly complete. But I've been very adamant this episode on placing a park maintenance depot, and the reason for that is we have a ton of parks already in the downtown area, and I do not want to let them go into disrepair. Now, I really don't have much of a clue where to place this yet, so I am just going to go ahead and plop it. Actually, you know what I'll do? I am going to reclaim a little piece of land here. I'll make like another, maybe a little pier, just like this. And I'll just try to blend the terrain a bit better, just like this. And then is this big enough to fit park maintenance depot? As long as it just fits, I'm happy with that. And then what I'm going to do here is level the terrain around the park maintenance depot, and I want to try something. Now, normally if I want to create like a sort of seawall around this building, I would use, you know, some alleys or maybe a small 2-lane road, something like that. But I'm going to try to see what we can do with a path. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but it might be okay. So I'm going to enable anarchy just so we can go all around here, just like that. And then I am going to there. So many menus, guys. Sometimes I get confused and a little lost, but it's okay. I always eventually find my way. And yeah, that's not too bad at all. It's a little low. I'm afraid that this building might be susceptible to flooding, so I'm going to raise it up a tad to an appropriate level, maybe about the same height as the rest of our seawalls over here. And then I'm going to connect this up to the rest of the park system, we'll call it, because it's literally a big system of parks now. And uh-oh, do we have... Oh, it looks like it raised the ground around it. Okay, well, it might just have to compromise and then lower it back down a bit. Or actually what I could do is add some more rocks. And it won't take much to cover all of this. So we're going to reduce this back down to 1 meter. We're going to set our rotation to random, and then we're just going to go around plopping rocks all around here. There. So I'll reiterate that I don't want to make this entire city incredibly detailed down to the nitty-gritty of everything. I just want the city to look good from afar, and maybe, you know, with the occasional high detailed areas in probably the downtown areas, and then some nicer neighborhoods, things like that. But like I said, I don't want to go into crazy details because then I'll just never finish this build. But there we have it. There is the whole coastline of the downtown area. This is really exciting, guys. I'm loving this. And in my opinion, it fits quite nicely into the river system here. You can see the channel still goes cleanly through this river, so we're not blocking anything. You know, the river can still be a natural body of water. So the next episode, I'm probably still going to be working in the downtown area. I'd like to develop this part of the coastline here. It's mostly going to be luxury residences, things like that. However, I would like your input on what I should build in here. Let's say This is not a perfect square, but I'll fix this after. What should we build along this part of the shoreline here within this block? Because in real life, it's a combination of parking lots and what looks to be like luxury apartments or maybe some sort of resort. I'm not quite sure, but judging by Google Maps, you know, it looks like a pretty nice neighborhood. So I'll leave you guys to decide what we build in this square here in the next episode, and then we'll go from there. So that'll be it for me today, guys. I really appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a really fun one to create. I really loved, you know, getting into the nitty-gritty and plopping down lots of props and trees, things like that. And it's amazing to see what kind of game Cities Skylines 2 is turning into, right? Like, we're slowly inching our way towards what the game really is going to be about. And actually, I think I'm going to do one more little thing here. I don't like that there is so much street parking. I think I'm going to replace some of these with some grass strips. And then maybe I'll just do some grass strips along the sides, just like this. And, what do I build here? I think I might just load this up with a bunch of... Getting lost in my menus again. Here, let's do this. I'm gonna plop a couple of oak trees. Maybe some pine trees too. You know, Florida does have pine trees, believe it or not. Quite a few of them, actually. So we'll do some of those. And then I'll basically just fill in this entire lot with a bunch of stuff. There. That looks pretty neat. And then I think this is a commercial lot. Yeah, it just hasn't developed yet for some reason. I still don't know why I don't have any commercial demand. There's just nothing. But maybe once we start plopping down some really big residential zones, we'll draw up some demand for some commercial space, but we'll see. Anyways, guys, like I said, that will be it for me today. Again, I really appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this episode, as usual, dump a like, drop a comment. Certainly don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of future uploads. And until the next episode, take care, everyone.